Block train comes in, things are going to get really bad really fast, but look at this, the CT's getting 4 consecutive frags, which leaves it all on Zesta TK. And, well, he has himself 2, and a 3rd as well, looking for that 4th kill. He's going to go down.
Wow. We sure this is CEVO amateur? Because that was some slick shooting there from Zester TK. 3 quick Glock headshots, almost brought that round back. And, well, the one thing that can stop the Glock train, or to derail it, if we want to take the metaphor further, is a couple USP bullets to the face. That just takes all the steam out of the engine and will generally win you that round. But, man, Zester, that was a big individual effort, but unfortunately might get a highlight clip from it, but he does not get a round win, and that's what you want on the board.
That's exactly it. And the thing is, though, that if the CTs start falling here from drop zone, it's going to get really bad for them once more, because they have gone, obviously, for the SMGs. I don't think they had a single assault rifle in the mix here, unless I'm wrong there, Joey. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like full...
Ben Billy had an MP7 as well, so they're going. They're playing Farming Simulator 15 right now, trying to get all that money on the board. Oh, Ayatomi running out into the bomb site with the bomb out. It was not clear.
So that one death doesn't really hurt them too much if it's just an MP7 that they're losing. The rest of the team still has their SMGs in their hands. I do wonder as well, like how many times these teams have played against each other if they're part of the same organization. Like this could be a reoccurring matchup where all the players kind of know each other really well.
Probably quite a lot. I was pretty involved with TAW, it stands for the Art of Warfare. Back when I started casting Dota 2, I cast their Dota 2 teams a lot. Also played with them a lot, and they had an A team and a B team, and they would scream each other all the time. So I imagine this is the same sort of relationship.
I wonder which is the team that's going to be A and which is B here, or which team's expected to win between these two teams. Obviously, I don't know a great deal about them, but you can see the CTs. This time, the MP7 has turned into a M4 for Ben Billy. Makes a lot of sense. And Magnum did go for another save here, even though they have had enough economy to maybe get a few Tech 9s, a couple of upgraded pistols, but they've gone for the full-on save with the Glocks. So likely they're going to pick up any frags here. Somehow, Tadek is still alive, but now it's all on Jericho, and it was a fake, and a successful one as well. So Jericho just jumps out of Long B, gets the bomb planted, and that is some money in the bank for a Magnum. So they'll have enough to actually maybe even get an AWP next round if they want one.
I would just like to say that I think Ben Billy is the best in-game handle I've seen in a while. Just makes me laugh. Especially coming from Europe, right? Ben Billy makes me think of like some redneck in the woods of like West Virginia or upstate New York. But no, Ben Billy coming at us from, coming at me rather from across the Atlantic. He might be your next door neighbor, Metuz.
Oh man, well in the north that would be a very strange name to have. So I think it's more of a southern thing. Who knows,
how funny is that, right? Across the sea, different countries, and it's still the South that has the bad rap. It's always hilarious to me.
To be fair, though, the South also think the North's awful, so it's one of those things in England. They have gone for the AWP, though, so Magnum have more than enough funds. And to be fair, they will be able to buy up next round as well, because of their round loss and because 4 of their players have over $2,000 still in their back pocket.
Yeah, let's see what Outpace can go ahead and do with that. Where did he take that up? He's got it over towards B, playing in the chicken coop, along with SC Verix over there. But, oh, look in middle. Jericho able to hit that entry onto Ben Billy, taking him off a CT slope. Dr. Jackson coming up here by the tree, trying to operate, but he can't do it. Shot down for the backside. Caught in between that terrorist split, going out through stables, up that CT slope. Outpace not finding success with that off early on, missing a couple shots. Verix did find a nade kill, but it's Magnum controlling the A site in a 4-on-2.
It certainly is, and this is a huge round for Magnum, considering that they are 3-0 down. That being said, they are going to lose some more players. Ayatomi has just been dropped from Outpace. For some reason, I thought I said Outspace there. Outpace BG. Hayes has landed a frag as well. I just don't think they've got enough time to get onto this site, neutralize the remaining 2 terrorists to get this bomb defused, and there we go. It is going to be a case of both the CTs being fragged. They will have enough economy to buy up next round, but it's not going to be a fantastic buy across the board. It's going to be maybe a couple of FAMASs. In fact, it's worse than I first thought, so maybe like saving those 2 weapons would have been more beneficial for the CTs in hindsight.
Yeah, it generally is. I mean, we'll even see teams at the highest level in the pro league. You know, we get a situation where as casters we can see everything where like they should save and they still won't do it. So I mean, I suppose it could be a hard decision to come by, but a couple of the richer players, actually really just Outpace here, who is probably not one of the richer players since he had that op, does just go for the 5-7 in armor, but they should still be okay next round to go for a buy. It's just that Hazed and Outpace will be a little worse off in that next round. But hey, the 5-7s are still pretty good, and the Terrorists, they've taken the site, and TAW is just playing a sort of quick retake scenario. Is working out very, very well. It's 4-on-2 for them, now 3-on-2. It's just Zester. We saw him working that Glock in the first round. Now he'll have to do it with an AK, and it looks like he will come through it. And, well, clearly this guy is the man to watch. He's had some nice rounds. This time he wins it.
Jeez, that was some pretty slick spray control there from Zester. That was impressive. This kind of stuff you'd see at the top end of CS, but I don't know if you caught that. There was a very fast rotation from Hazed. He went all the way around mid, up through drop zone, just behind the terrorists. So you got all the way around the back of them in just like 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, they gave up B expecting a B hit, left 2 people sitting in that AB connector, and then pushed the other 3, like you were just saying, on that quick flank.
Exactly.
That was actually really a good strat. It's a bit, obviously, a gamble, but...
Yeah, definitely high risk, high reward, but it paid off. And they had 5-7, so you can understand why they'd go for that play. And it completely caught the terrorists off guard because they were thinking, okay, drop zone's clear. And then suddenly it's a 5-7 behind you landing headshots. So, as expected, Jinx now have got themselves weapons. Although just a FAMAS on Ben Billy, who is going to line them up, but Ayatomi's too fast with that AWP. He takes him out. It's 2-player advantage now to Magnum. And again, looks like the A site will be ripe to be planted on.
Oh, let's see if they've got a chance here. Oh, Sverix or SEVerix or SCV, I don't know. Maybe he's a StarCraft fan. Brings down 1. Zester finds Outpace. Verix is now kind of trapped up in that little room at A, and now he'll go down. It is pretty difficult to work yourself out of that room. Now it's up to Hazed with the P90 trying to come over. I think Verix had a gun, but I don't know if he could get a hold of it. Even still, might at this point just want to try to set up for some exits, save the P90. He's been spotted at this point. It's going to be hard to get out of here, and yeah, he'll fall.
Very close game, and this is just off the back of Jinx going for that, full buy after ecoing, so they're back to a pretty sketchy position. Maybe a couple more 5-7s coming out here from them. And I wonder if they do go for the 5-7s or upgraded pistols, if they try the same strat again with Haze coming all the way around the back through drop zone, and if they do, if Magnum have something to counteract that push. But no, it's going to be a full-on eco this time, just full USPs with Kevlar on outpace. That's an interesting decision when everyone else has just gone for USPs, and they do go for it, and it's a collateral shot. Ayatomi gets a 2-for-1, a bargain bucket of frags, and well, Jinx weren't looking good to take this round at the start with just USPs, but it's got a lot worse for them now.
Yeah, Ben Billy, cool name, but I don't know if he can do too much here with the USP up against 5. So I want to go back. Remember the cool round where TAW Jinx'd gave up that B site and had that flank coming in? So that strat's really cool. It works out for the CTs, but I think Magnum can maybe go back and think, all right, we're expecting them to be on a save round. We don't really need more than 4 people to take the B site. They should have left somebody back to cover that flank. And then at that point, I don't think they run into any trouble. It wouldn't have come down to the 1v1 for Zester.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, they did make sure they did pretty much exactly what you just said with Ayatomi. He was watching it with the AWP. I got the 2-for-1 shot, so that in itself pretty much sealed the deal. Jinx, though, with that previous eco, have a decent buy. Not necessarily full-on grenades, but they've got enough to be a nuisance here for the terrorists. And they are keeping 1 defuse kit on A, 1 defuse kit on B, although Dr. Jackson, who has the defuse kit on A, is pushing very aggressively up long. Has picked up the frag, but gets AWP through the smoke from Ayatomi. Beautiful shot from him, and this will definitely favor the terrorists.
All right, Ben Billy down here trying to hold that mid room still. He'll find a kill on the Jericho, but David's there for the refrag. It's a 3-on-3 right now. Oh, and Hazed playing in that smoke, really heads up play. He's just going to let him run right on by. So now he's on the slope right in behind them in such a good spot actually to be. He's spotted David, so the call should come out. Actually, he'll just get the kill himself. He knows that Zester's in the site. Ayatomi is shot, so they know where all these terrorists are. They just got to bring home the kills. It's Ayatomi now, 1 versus 2. Player already on the bomb. Oh, wow. Sees the side of him. It does get him off the bomb. He'll scope in, but that's a bit of a risk because, yeah, he leaves himself completely exposed, and Outpace will capitalize on that.
Important round as well for the CT to hold on to that. And Magnum back to the drawing board. Have a lot of fun to play with. They can easily afford to get another AWP once more. I'd expect to see one of those come through for Ayatomi, who's been pretty solid with it thus far. And there we go. Picks it up for himself. Are they maybe going to run with... Well, for a second I thought maybe we'd see another AWP coming out, but the CT economy, actually, even though they just won that previous round, is still not fantastic. They've still got 2 FAMASs in play.
I like Hayes with the P90. This man has been on TeamSpeak. I have talked to him. I didn't know he was a P90 user. Might have to talk to him again after this. But as I say that, must hear me speaking, he gets a 3K here. And I suppose Cobble is one of those maps when you're playing at B where you can get away with running shotguns, running P90s. So now it's all on Jericho, and he can do nothing. Dr. Jackson moving in up through that dragon room will find him.
Yeah, it's a complete shutout. So the issues I was saying before about their economy looking a bit sketchy still pretty much been nullified. Now they've got enough funds to replenish the grenades. They've got full buy-up with 4 defuse kits. No real reason for Hayes to get a defuse kit for himself. 3.2k. They already got 4. No issues. A full Bison buy-up from Magnum. Like, what? Why?
All right, are you going to question the Bison? Because,
yeah,
you know, the general manager of CEVO lives and dies by the Bison. He is, it is his favorite gun. Although he would never buy it on a rifle round, it is still his favorite submachine gun.
Oh my god. Just amateur things, right?
Maybe it's just for the lulz. Maybe they wanted to just get a reaction out of us.
True, they got one. I was kind of like, hold on a second, have I gone a bit crazy? I just see 5 Bisons on the team of terrorists. And they went for Kevlar as well, so I suppose because, you know, they got lost 2 rounds in a row, they will be able to get AKs up, and if they can get the bomb plant, then, you know, all the better for it, but they have taken 2 players down. There's a couple of players who will hope it's not going to happen.
So that's the problem with the Bison. We saw a man control a spray pretty nicely. He probably landed about 7 shots, but the CT was still alive with 7 HP at the end of it. Yeah, I wouldn't advise that. But hey, they can do that round, still keep a little bit of pressure on, and now come into a full-on buy? I don't know. I don't know if it was it too detrimental?
Yeah, I guess. I just feel like if you're going to go for a force buy, maybe go for Techno armor.
Yeah. Let me buy a Bison, 64 bullets, but it takes 7 to the head to kill somebody. Or I could buy this pistol, that's 1 to the head to kill somebody, and it's $500.
Exactly. And to be honest, if you can't kill someone in like 24 rounds or whatever it is with a Tech 9, then something's not quite working out for you.
If you can't do it in 24, 100's really not going to help you too much either.
Yeah, indeed. But you can see the entry frags for Magnum pretty solid here. They have picked up 2 frags. One just gets traded back by Ben Billy, and then outpace as well, but the bomb has been planted. And this is going to be pretty rough. You can see maybe the playmaker from Dr. Jackson, who's coming up through long. He's been spotted, and now he is the last remaining player.
Zester's in his spot, man.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Got a 4K on that round, too.
16 for 6, man. This guy is landing headshots.
He's been good. He gets out onto that long plat, or you know, jumps off the long plat, get into the back of the B, and that's where he seems to be in his zone. That's, well, he didn't win the 1 round, but he got 3 or 4 headshots with the Glock from back there, and then he survived an anti-eco with the AK, killing 3 people in a 1-on-3, I think it came down to, against those 5.7s on that cool round. And then right there, picking up the 4K on entries and holding on to the flank. And, all right, now Jinx'd is like, you've gone for the Bisons. We're going for the lovely umps and a P90. And this is working out. Hayes does kill Ben Billy. And, oh, my gosh, it's going to work because... Well, this time Magnum just walked straight into the trap. They sprung it. They were a little mouse. They were looking for cheese. And the ump delivered the snap.
Man, the UMP in the P90 there, that crossfire was absolutely horrendous for Magnum. Ayatomi's missing a couple of shots. That could probably prove to be the final blow for this round for Magnum. And there we go. He's just fallen down. Last player's of 1 HP. And Tadek... his days are numbered. The bomb's also in mid, so it couldn't get too much worse for him, honestly. He has no flashes, nothing to get his way in there, 45 seconds to play with. And Jinx's positions are pretty solid across the board, like they are going to have this round.
Yeah, and I got to say, while, again, I don't necessarily agree with the ump P90 strat, because it's like, I'm like 95% sure that would have worked even better with just 5.7s. But if you are going to do an all SMG strat, the umps and the P90s are definitely the better ones to do it because they have better armor penetration.
Yeah. Well, we had this discussion yesterday, that the P90 is actually pretty good for going over from eco bashes into rifle rounds. Like the P90 is the one SMG you probably want.
Yeah, that you don't mind keeping. And now they're mixing it up. Hayes is back to that P90. He's got it going on. And Outpace goes for the Scar 20, and he'll take that over towards B. So, well, based on the terrorist's current trajectory, we might see some Scar 20 carnage.
It's looking likely when you consider it's just Tech 9s with no armor on the side of Magnum. This could do damage, though, if they can get some players down drop zone, but it is the P90 that's in drop zone, which is going to be horrific for Magnum. But let's see. Now moving in through long. I think my issue here for the terrorists is they're playing this one very slow with no flashes or smokes or anything. So this is allowing the CTs to get up behind them, which they've already shown propensity for doing beforehand with Hayes. They must have half expected this, but somehow they have got 2 frags back, which is very surprising to me.
Scar 20 is not really working out. All right, there it goes. Outpace gets 1. And now it's Zester, who's got an AK, but he doesn't have any armor, so I think he'll be pretty hard-pressed to make another sick play as, yeah, those P90 bullets connect and his crosshair goes to the moon.
Yep, that is the problem without having armor on the side. And here we go, another buy up. So you said before, like 9.6 is a pretty solid half, or am I remembering completely wrong?
I think either way, 8.7, 9.6, either way is not too bad.
So Magnum's still, on the cusp of where they maybe want to be. Can still pull things off. My only issue here in this round is that they have only 5 nades, and 4 of those are flashes, so just the 1 smoke. That doesn't seem like enough, maybe, for Magnum to force onto this site. They do have an AWP, so a lot of this is maybe going to come down to the picks from Ayatomi, but to be fair, he's not working mid and he's not working long, so it's kind of not
really good flashes here, though, from the terrorists. Yeah. They haven't used that smoke that we'll often see to be put down right by these boxes, but those flashes let Zester work out. He's got 2 quick headshots already and bringing down another kill there onto Hayes. Can he peek out? He knows that Ben Billy's there, and already Dr. Jackson is coming in on that flank, so we'll get to see that battle, and perhaps an ace here from Zester. He is on for it. He'll get the player in drop, and he'll get Dr. Jackson coming in from the back.
He loves this box. That was an ace, man. That was a ridiculous play as well from Magnum. I agree. I was a bit surprised, though, like watching Jinx'd, I was keeping an eye on their inventory and seeing how many grenades they had. They had a lot of smokes and flashes and Molotovs left, so I'd half expect you see a lot of the top tier teams will throw in a couple smokes, a couple flashes in the molly to stop that push from coming in and keep the terrorists at bay, but none of that was forthcoming, and you kind of said yourself, normally you'll have a smoke around the boxes, even from a terrorist perspective, but they just went out raw there and got the frags, which is very surprising.
All right, so that's 8-6 into the last round of the half right now, and it looks like Magnum with the heroic efforts by Zester in the last round have got themselves in a pretty advantageous position. They should be able to get this one real close. Zester sees the back of Dr. Jackson. He'll shut him down. Further out towards long A, towards Matrix there. So SCV, he's got armor. What's his money at? Oh, only $100. I think SCV, if you watch this, maybe you just go Kevlar P250, because USP on a round like this is more or less worthless. But as I say it, of course, let me just eat some words real quick. I haven't had breakfast, so the words will do. He does find 1 kill. But still, even then, it looks like Magnum are on for the round 7 victory here for them.
Just to have you back, though, Joey, I agree.
Thank you.
I think your logic is pretty much spot on. Should probably have not got that frag, but still did. It wasn't enough. 8-7 at half time, so pretty much as even as it gets here between the two teams. Top fragging by a country mile is Zester. I mean, you look at his team; he's on 23. Nearest player on his team is David Hogger with 11. So if he takes Zester out of the team, like they would have been really struggling there for that half.
Yeah, man, he had almost 22 efficacy, which is pretty crazy for a league match. I mean, that's something you drop in pugs. It's not too big of a deal. He had 166 ADR. CEVO-A was the standout player for the other TAW Jinx'd. He had 118 ADR, but was only 12 and 11. He did have 9 assists, though. He's getting a lot of damage per the rounds. You can maybe say not quite finishing off these kills, because 9 assists is actually... that's a lot. That's actually maybe even frustrating for him.
Yeah, true. Oh, dual Berettas.
Oh, I love it.
Talked about this as well yesterday. With a grenade.
It'll be really good because only one guy has armor.
Yeah. Wow, really? Just one three Tech 9s from the P250.
Yeah, and what's he got? The dual Berettas, the duelist.
I have not seen that skin before.
Me neither. The Zester guy's showing us the light. Oh, and he's going to get in there right behind them. And, okay, so quality, pros of the dualies, right? This is a pros and cons. I'm not saying the pros that use the dualies. Very, very accurate on the first shot. But once you start spamming them, well, again, they're still fairly accurate. The crosshair that goes kind of nuts, though. I don't know. I think it's better to take them a little slower. Not that I'm amazing with them, but it's generally the first shot accuracy that you like for those dualies.
I agree. I think it's the same kind of way that I would try and fire a 5.7. Not just like spamming, but more like take your time and just try and tap across. But as for speaking, Magnum do get themselves the round. It was a bomb plant, though, from Jinx. Now, at the top level, what you're expecting is a terrorist to buy nothing here, or at least just a couple of upgraded pistols and have AKs going through to their third round. Very curious to see if that's what Jinx will do. Yeah, man. Defuse with the balloons.
Was that happening yesterday when we were casting Pro League Europe?
No, it wasn't.
But it's been in the game, and I was really confused. I think we have it turned off on some servers, but that change hasn't rolled all the way through. Because when we were casting Europe yesterday, it wasn't on, but when I was producing North America last night, it was on. And I was like, I don't get it. This makes no sense. But, whoa, look at this round. This is going to be fun. We've got whole lot of things going on. They're going to force up because they got that bomb plant money. You got Mac 10's armor and some grenades here up against MP7s, MP9s, 5.7s, and a scout. This is going to be, hopefully, a bloodbath of a round.
Definitely shaping up for it, but I'm a bit worried for Magnum because I'm pretty sure they're expecting, like I did, that this would be a save round for Jinx because they get the AKs next. So they're skimping out a tiny bit with their buy. You look at the weaponry, in actual fact, it's Jinx who have the better weapons here across the board. Only a pistol on Jericho, and you can see that early trade is going to allow the terrorists to go through drop zone. It looks like they will go on A. Yeah, through the back, through hut as well. But what, without pace, running with his knife out there, just got completely caught.
Yeah, I don't know if you've broken through enemy lines and you're rushing further into enemy territory. I don't know if it's a great idea to keep the knife out. Although even still, that player was posted up and waiting. I would have expected. I don't know who got that frag, but I would have expected whoever killed Outpace to have still probably got it.
True. I don't know. Maybe like heads you and tails I lose scenario. And somehow Magnum do hold on to that round. And again, I was kind of worried for them when you see the Mac 10s come in and a couple of players skimping. There's the XM. Makes sense. I think Zester is going to be running. Yeah, he's running into drop zone with it. This is probably the best place to have this weapon. And a couple of M4s picked up alongside the Scout and the MP7 that survived from last round. That is a full Glock Eco. The purest form of Eco that there is. And it's going to just be dealt with in a matter of seconds from Magnum, without losing any players as well. So it's a solid round for the CTs.
Indeed, and I think Zester picked up at least, he got one $900 frag in there, so his money's up. Also, that XM1014 is a gun on Cobble. I already kind of alluded to it in the first half. It's something you can keep around on your Cobble. Play it in drop, play close to the end of that long plat. And that's exactly where Zester's going with it. And from what I've noticed, he seems to be that drop player. Oh my gosh, CEVO-A, I would be screaming at you on TeamSpeak right now as he blocks his team from rushing B at that first door.
Yeah, a couple of mechanical errors that we've seen so far. A couple of questionable buys as well. This round is more standard, although the SG was an interesting weapon to see. Just a couple taps across, not going to land any headshots just yet. So that's also given his position away. And if Magnum just hold these positions, I mean, they should be okay. The only concern for me is that there's only one player over on the A side, and it seems to be the terrorists are pushing. That being said, it's Tadek, and he gets himself the first frag in that confrontation. So that's going to go some way to secure this bomb site for the CTs.
So a lot of people talk about the Krieg and always say it's so great tapping. Like, honestly, I kind of disagree. I think it is the easiest gun in the game to spray at any range. Thank you to the scope at that point. Tapping is also pretty good, but I don't like tapping through the ACOG scope because your dot, like, it disappears / moves really erratically. I don't know. The spray, though, is next level. Once you learn the pattern, it's so easy.
I honestly have barely ever used the SG or the AUG. I have absolutely no idea how they run. I'm more of like a boring AK-M4 kind of guy. Jericho, though, is up with the aforementioned M4 on the balcony, and he just gets picked off, but no one's checked
Oh, no one's checked it.
And Zesta gets the frag. He only has to survive for 4 seconds. Just hide in there. It's going to be so difficult for the terrorists.
Oh, you can see Zester like, 1 more second, please. 1 more second, please. If there is a bind to get on your knees and pray, that's probably the bind he would have been using right there to stay alive for 1 more second. But that's the problem. They execute onto that site in a 3-on-3 with, you know, very little time. So they don't have time to check and clear that site, and that's where you run into the problem. It almost cost them the round, very, very nearly.
Yeah, and they had plenty of time as well, you know, as you say. To just have a quick glance and see if there's any players there. But there is Zesta. Gets the frag before being traded out.
So this is kind of... I think Zester honestly might want to play a different spot. Clearly, he's the star of this team, and he's playing in drop, and he keeps getting traded out 1 for 1. I think he needs to be alive.
He needs to be in a position, I feel, where he can retake sites.
Yeah, exactly.
If things go down. So, yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. Drop's a fundamental place, but you can cover that even with 2 players if things are getting a bit too obvious from the terrorist perspective. So if he's on like the B side or even floating between the sites, I think he could definitely pull off, crazy things. Maybe he's just on one of those games where everything's working for him. Ayatomi does miss a shot though onto long of B up on the plateau now. The terrorists have dropped 2 players. And they do get the entry onto Jericho, which is pretty massive, because up until that point, the crossfire was in the favor of the CTs. That AWP is going to have to go close range devastation mode, and Itomi misses another shot. Bombs could get planted. There's David Hogger, though, coming to the aid of his AWPer. And this is looking good for the CTs up until the moment that Tadek gets picked off, so it's still anybody's game. Beautiful 5-7 headshot, though, from Ayatomi. That's all on Dr. Jackson. He's behind the bomb. They know he's there from a few moments prior. And Magnum have picked up their 11th round, but this really is just going round for round between the 2 teams.
Yeah, Tomi was getting a little op shy there. He hit his first shot with the op from, up on that rectangle, or the plateau, as I think you called it. Then he dropped down and was kind of scared of getting, pushed on either side. Pulls out the 5-7, and he lands a couple shots on that bomb planter as he stood up. But if he'd had the op out, he would have just killed that guy right away.
So, what? I don't even understand, Ayatomi's knife is Ben Billy be jealous.
Ben Billy probably really wanted to flip fade stat track, and he doesn't have it.
Oh, I was like, are they teammates? But he's actually on the other team.
Yeah. Well, they're clan mates.
Yeah. Some in-house banter between the 2 teams, I guess. That being said, Jinx'd back onto an eco. And Outpace seems to do this a lot as well. Like, whenever they go for these upgraded pistols, he's the only guy that buys Kevlar. I don't know if that's like a set strat or what's going on there, but he's put himself down to 1.6k, so he's going to need to get some kills and get this bomb plant for him to have a decent buy up next round. David Hogger kind of bails on his teammate, but that is a beautiful kill. That drops the bomb as well. Instantly, the CTs have the huge advantage now.
Or everyone... Oh, they're all looking up at long A, and it's Hogger here in the stairs, so... Yeah, he's finally cleaned up by that Tech 9. 2-on-3 right now, but Zester coming in looking to pick up that money. Has taken some damage. Going in for that reload. Putting in some extra shells here. Oh, and Hazed. Hazed missing some shots with that AK. He's a little too trained to the P90.
And this is what I'm talking about. Like, Outpace gets the Kevlar. Therefore, this round he's got 3.6k. He goes for a P90 and drops it to Haste. I assume that's for.
The rest of his team's probably like, Outpace, stop buying Kevlar.
If he was like landing headshots with Tech 9s, I could kind of understand it, but it wasn't to Hazed. Hazed has been like the P90, designated P90er. It's gone across the Verax or SC Verax, so instead Hazed is using the Scout. Not a great buy up though from Jinx'd.
He's the Scout P90 Master. Not a bad title, I suppose. Zester's officially got his 30 bomb, 31 kills right now for him, only 12 deaths, and Jericho. Yeah, well, no one saw that. Bit awkward there as he messes up that pop flashes himself, and then still decides to run forward. Jinx'd is like, what? Is that guy drunk? Jericho. I guess it's, well, say it's not even 5 o'clock where I am, but over in England or Europe, I guess it would be okay to be drinking at this point.
Yeah, 6:30. Some people don't need that excuse though. Depending where you're from, Tomi has picked up the first frag. Well, not the first frag, but a Molotov frag, I should say. Down to 3-on-3. 31 bomb has been dropped from Zester as well. And there's still plenty of rounds to go. So, I mean, this guy could be on for a 40 if he keeps this up. That's just ridiculous.
Shout out to some of the TAW supporters in the chat. We've got a 3-on-3 right here in round 22. Jinx'd are needing to make that comeback. And you can see there, it's actually kind of funny. You got the shotgun, the M4, and the AWP compared to, you know, the SMG and AK and a Scout. It's like almost the same style of weaponry, but the CTs here is a little bit better. However, it's Ben Billy with that AK that will bring down a rifle. So at this point, Jinx'd planting the bomb, now holding onto the site, have a pretty good chance. Zestor, though, we talked about wanting to get him in these retake positions, and there he is, bringing down Ben Billy. Let's see if he can't do a little bit more work here. CEVO-A is in a good spot. He just has to really not peek. Hayes is going to be able to take down Ayatomi as he rotates over through the little house. And Verix will take down Zestor.
Those are the kind of scenarios in the 2v2. I double-checked. 2 flashes and a smoke still in the hands of the CT. I would like them to use those flashes. You know, you're going to pop flash your way out onto a pretty precarious position. Even maybe try and save the weapons, because again we're seeing this kind of a full buy coming in. But here's the thing that I'm not agreeing with, and I know, you know, this may come across as harsh. You're buying 3 defuse kits, which are going to take away from extra grenades on Magnum. That's like quite a few flashes, a couple of smokes that you could have had instead. And when you're on CT side, like that's absolutely required to retake sites and to just block off the terrorists from pushing in. So this could come back to haunt them. There's no reason to have 3 defuse kits. Like 1 would be enough.
It's the first time I've heard that advice. Don't buy defuse kits.
Well, over grenades.
I do see where you're coming from. Or at least 1 per site, anyways. And there's Zester, who wants that extra money, playing the drop with that shotgun. You'll see players like Arya do that back when he was on Affinity and now on 3's Up. He will play the drop room. He's the one player in my mind that does that almost every round. It's pretty funny. Same thing on Train. I'll take it towards the ladder room. But early man advantage here. 2 Magnum. About 40 seconds to the clock for Jinx. They're going to have to make a play, and it looks like they are sliding back over towards A. They've deposited Hazed as that lurker, but the lurker with the op, so that's a little bit awkward. Either way, Verix here, that star player for Jinx, does find that frag onto TDK. David Haga, though, in a pretty good spot, and he's actually not... Okay, he is being pressured from long. He'll be spotted by 1, but the other terrorist walking up doesn't even react. And Dr. Jackson just getting caught off guard. Now it's going to be up to Hayes to a shot in the back by Ayatomi, so good positioning there by David Haga.
Yeah, very well played by him. Like, good game sense as well. Not to get too carried away after that first frag, but to hold position on that long wasn't covered. And there's a chance that maybe he would get forced from behind. So, yeah, awesome play. Pause coming in. I'm not sure. I mean, I assume this is tactical.
Very well.
I haven't heard anything else in chat. Normally, you know, you'd say TS issues or mouse problems or something. So I assume this is tactical.
I would think it's tactical. It's a pretty important round. Some of them have enough money to maybe buy, so they're maybe trying to figure out exactly what they would need on this round or what. Because, you know, if they're not concerned about this round, as we've talked about and was even talked about at the major, is you would just take this round then as your timeout, essentially, to stay and spawn it and talk it over. You'll have plenty of time to come up with the strategy. The old Swedish eco.
True that. Then they are running out of time when it comes to rounds, as you say. Having a full buy-up, apart from Tadek, who only had enough for a FAMAS in this round. I wonder what's being said on comms right now. What are you expecting, Joe? Are you thinking maybe like a force-up with Tech9s, or do you reckon we are going to see an eco?
Yeah, Hazed... Well, we know that Hazed himself doesn't really doesn't like using the rifle so much, so maybe he'll drop a rifle for somebody else since he's the man with 4200, so they can get someone, maybe CEVO-A into a raid boss mode. Everyone else can go for the Tech9s. Outpace would have to not go head armor, which is maybe not too smart against, you know, FAMAS and M4A1Ss, so he could go P250 Kevlar, and maybe they'd have a shot if they just hit B pretty hard. But let's see. Match still paused. Again, nothing said in the chat unless I've missed it. Yeah, just the pause and no questions even from the other team. And there's the ready. So it looks like they've decided what they want to do. And if nothing is bought up, then we can only assume that this was for round 25. That would be next round.
Yeah. And that does make sense as well, you know, to have something in the back of your mind that you can think of while the eco comes in. So you can try and they could also be still talking about that right now as well up until the end of this round, just having a couple of finalized remarks, making sure everyone remembers what's going to be happening next. Hazed is in a position where he could buy an AWP next round if they want to as well with the funds that will probably be getting in. The issue is, though, full Glocks once again, no P250s. I'd almost like to see a couple players maybe go for a P250 because it really does just magnify that kill potential. Glocks are absolutely awful against armor.
Yeah, Hayes
really
could have dropped the entire team P250s, or at least a couple of them. Maybe Outpace and Varix as their and Ben Billy even. Actually, it's Outpace and Ben Billy that are the fraggers. Varix also have quite a few bomb plants. He's ahead just in terms of the score.
Yeah, and this is another reason why I'm thinking like maybe Hayes is not dropping so he can get that up. That's the only thing I can think of. If he doesn't, then I'm going to be questioning that decision.
And I'm seeing from the chat from Jinx supporter, I wonder who he's supporting. Varix is apparently the IGL here of Jinx. So IGL and on top of the scoreboard right now, at least in terms of score. And TDK going to get a quick double. He is brought down. Outpace and Ben Billy are left. That's the AK taken out from the terrorists. And then Outpace with just a Glock. Can't really stand up to that. So TAW take that round, the 14th. Not really too surprising considering Jinx bought absolutely nothing. But here they go. This is what that pause was most likely for. So let's see what Varix came up with. See how good of a tactician that he is. And Hazed. Did he drop a gun? Is it on the ground?
He did. He dropped an AWP. So that's kind of what I was hoping for, that they didn't just save for the sake of saving. He did drop an AWP to Outpace. He got a P90 in return. And we are going to have like a pretty healthy buy-up. It's not fantastic for Jinx, but it's definitely good enough to make something happen.
Well, I mean, it's Hazed with a P90. From what I've seen, that seems to be his comfort weapon. So it's for him and for the team, it is probably better that he has it.
You got to go with what you're comfortable with, man.
That's like
clearly seems very comfortable with that.
Kind of a compliment, but also a flame. So if you're watching Hazed, you should AK.
But yeah, there's a reason why pretty much every top level player will pick the AK over a P90 in rifle rounds. But either way, first frag has gone to the IGL of Jinx, as you called before, and that's pretty much going to put a huge stop on this aggression. That smoke as well keeps the terrorists locked in place. This is a smoke that I said before as well, when I think it was on the flip side when Zesta was coming out and getting the entry frags. They're expecting a smoke to land down there from the CTs. It just stops the push from coming in for a few more seconds. 40 seconds left. They still have 2 smokes and 2 flashes to use, but they're not going for it. They're going straight in. And Ayatomi on the statue is just bringing down. There's Jericho as well, who was the player that was boosting him up. And that pause seems to have done absolutely nothing for Jinx. Outpace has answered back with a frag of his own, but time is running thin, and so is his HP. He's down to 4. If he moves any more to that right-hand side, he gets Molotoved, but instead gets picked off from Ayatomi for his 3rd frag of the round. And now it's 5 match points to Magnum.
The funny thing there is it looked like Jericho sprayed down that player rushing the bomb site, but it was actually Ayatomi with the op that got him. So Ayatomi picked up 3 on that round. Not too bad. And from the idea of what, I mean, Jinx were setting up there, they were going kind of slow. It seemed like they wanted to pull off a set smoke strat. You saw some people lining them up, but once Varix went down and maybe they had lost some nades at that point, things kind of quickly fell apart. And now, you know, they're forcing out to these submachine guns. Again, guys, I think you'll find that the Tech 9 armor rush is going to do you a lot more than going into Bisons and Mac 10s. But yeah, let's see what they got.
Well, Zesta has got frags. 3 of them, in fact. He's looking for a 4th. His spray control is on point. He could have an ace here. And he has dropped the 40 bomb as well, by the way. So that's ridiculous. But he's just been dropped. And there was a hope there for a second that maybe Dr. Jackson had it in his back pocket. But instead, it's 16-10 to Magnum. Deserved winners. But Zesta, I mean, geez, this guy. He seems to be punching a bit below his weight right now.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I could play in CEVO main, but I'm just going to play in CEVO amateur with my friends and drop 40 bombs and feel really good about myself. Which, hey, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I had, back in the day when I played in Open, I had some, you know, players that had played seasons of Cal Invite, and honestly, they carried our team pretty hard back in the day. So it's not unheard of to, maybe you just want to play with your friends at a certain point.
Yeah, maybe he prefers to be like a big fish in a small pond, so he can just eat everyone else. Yeah. Clearly, he's quite a sick player from what I saw there.
Yeah, so let's take a look. Just to give these guys their money worth, since they did donate the $50 to get their match cast. So, anyone else watching that is thinking about getting a match cast, if you donate $50 to the prize pool, you can find that it's available on CEVO's website. You can have your match cast on CEVO TV. I will say, though, that at that point, then you need to have it scheduled, and that can be a little bit difficult working it around the Pro League. This one we've obviously put before, but if you donate $50 to have your match cast, it would be a lot easier if you guys were available to play on a Friday or a Saturday, and those are the days that we're generally off, not casting the Pro League. So that would help us out a lot. But of course, we can postpone your match and fit you in, offer you some times to play before or after Pro League games. So just a heads up for that, guys. But let's take a look at Jinx'd roster. I didn't send you the link today, Metuz. I can actually get it to you right now real quick. To look at some of these players from Jinx'd. So who was the standout player for this match? We've got, it looks like, it was CEVO-A. Again, it didn't reflect just in kills, which is, again, why kills are not necessarily everything. He did have the highest efficacy, coming in at a little over 11 with, only a scoreline of 15-21, but he had 11 assists, man. That's insane.
Yeah, still putting the work in. And I think he also got quite a few bomb plants as well. So clearly he was the guy that was, balls to the wall, just running in first. And although Outpace did get a better KDA, still 11 assists is nothing to turn your nose up on. He's clearly putting in the work for his teammates.
Yeah, and while it looks like the best weapon category is kind of malfunctioning, I can actually see what they are. And this is a problem, guys, on Jinx'd. If you want to take your game to the next level, your best weapon on your best player should not be a P90. Hazed and Verix, their weapons are P90s. So let's fix that for next time, boys. And then let's take a look over at esports, or TAW Esports Magnum, who I guess we've, by process of elimination, have determined that they were the A team, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Zesta's on the B team.
Or are they, though? Because as it stands, overall, the Jinx'd players performed pretty good as a unit, but here on this team, it's Zester TK with almost 24 efficacy, more than doubling that of Ayatomi.
That's insane.
And almost doubling David Hoga.
Jeez, man. This guy. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but then again, I also agree with you. You need to switch over from those P90s, not to be harsh or anything, but clearly if you've donated, then you're kind of serious about improving and things. Like the P90 is all well and good for like anti-ecos and maybe a couple rifle rounds, but if you're consistently going out of your way to buy P90s, eventually that is going to catch up with you. And that's what we saw. Zesta was just ripping them to shreds. Like from long range, the P90 cannot compete with the AK at long range.
Yeah, and again, the best weapon thing not functioning, but from left to right for this team, for Magnum, it's AK, op, AK, and that's Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Honorary mention, I guess, if you got a M4A1S up there as your best weapon, as one of the players on Jinx'd did. So, well, that's that, guys. We got some more Pro League matches coming up, so if you're already around and watching, make sure to come back. But it was congrats to Magnum taking their week 1 amateur match over their brother team, TAW Jinx'd, 16-10 on Cobble. Up next, it's going to be Hellraisers versus Property, and then later on today, Copenhagen Wolves, former LGB versus Infinity. I've been Helium, with me Metuz. You can hit us up on Twitter at HeliumBrella, at MetuzTV if you've got any questions about those donations or getting involved playing in CEVO. Hit us up, and we'll be glad to talk to you. So until the next match, we'll be back in a little bit, guys. It'll be about 15-20 minutes.